And I feel like with birth control, they don't tell you, okay, you are at risk for depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety. Like, I already have insecurities, and this birth control is like a reminder of your insecurities. Yeah.
Welcome back to Macy VTV. I am Macy Vessel. Macy VTV is a brand to give people a platform to share their truth and talents. And today with me, I have Miss Tayla. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So y'all, today, this segment is about birth control. It's a lot of conversations that we can have about this. So if we don't discuss anything that you might want to know, please feel free to drop it in the comments. So my first question is, what were you doing on birth control at 12 years old? Because when you texted me that age, I'm like, that's very young.
I know. Okay. Well, you probably thought in middle school, everybody thought like, is she having sex?
All right, girl.
Yeah. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand. If you do your research, birth control isn't only used for sexual intercourse. You can use it for your menstrual cycle. So I got on birth control at 12 years old because before that, I started my period in 4th grade. Very unbearable, very heavy.
I think that's when I started mine.
It was very irregular. I would go through 3 boxes of pads. I had to change my pad at least every class period. In middle school, I had like 7 periods. So every class period, I would have to change my pad or I'm bleeding through it, period. It was very heavy. I said period. I didn't understand this. I'm young. I didn't know that cycles are supposed to be like this. I was having sometimes a cycle twice a month. I would get off of it for 2 weeks and it's back. And I would think, oh, this comes with it. Yeah. But my mom one day was like, that's not normal. I need to take you to the OBGYN. And I'm 12, so I'm thinking, you know, this is how every woman is dealing with it.
Were you scared at that age to go to the doctor?
I wasn't, because the way my mind works, I'm always thinking I'm gonna be all right. Like they're gonna come in here and tell my mom. You know, I usually sit in the doctor's office and let my mom handle it.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking they're gonna tell her, okay, this is what's wrong with her. This is what she needs to do. Go to CVS, pick up this, go home. You don't need to come back.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really scared until it became more serious. That the reason I did have to get on birth control because of the excessive blood loss, it did cause me to become anemic. So I did have to get on birth control to stop my period and take iron pills at the same time to build back up my iron. The blood loss that I had, very crazy blood clots as well. So all of that was just bringing my iron very,
like everything was just talking to each other.
Yeah. So start the birth control, stop the bleeding, start iron pills, build the iron back up. So that is why I was on birth control at 12.
So which you was on the pill first?
Yeah, I started on the pill.
So how was that experience for you? Because 12 years old, our body still hasn't fully developed. We're not even preteen yet.
Yeah.
So what were some effects that happened with the pill?
So, I know maybe people may not realize, but I was always chubby since a baby.
Yeah.
I have an older sister. She was like, you know, back in the day, the body was giving Beyonce in 2005. That was the body to have. It wasn't giving Black China.
Yeah.
So she had the perfect slim, flat stomach, you know, nice.
So that's what you wanted.
Nice body. And me and her looked like the number 10 next to each other all of our lives. And I was just like, okay, I'm on birth control. It is making me gain weight like crazy. And I got so depressed. And I feel like with birth control, they don't tell you, okay, you are at risk for depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, weight gain. That's major. I feel like I already have insecurities, and this birth control is like a reminder of
your insecurities.
Yeah. I'm taking something that's causing me to gain so much weight. And it's almost like, it wasn't like it almost looked like, it looked like I had, I don't know if people know what preeclampsia is. It's when pregnant people swell up. So it's kind of like I was looking like I was swollen in my face.
At only 12 years old?
Yes. And it lasted till 7th grade. But I looked like I was sick. And even though I had other health issues going on at the time, I'm depressed. These mood swings are making me hate myself. I'm disgusted every time I look in the mirror. I just cry every time I look in the mirror. And then I have to take this birth control. And I would have to take between 2 to 4 pills at once a day at the same time every day because it was so heavy. I needed extra doses to stop it.
Did the doctor tell you to take those extra doses, or you just thought that would make it better?
She told me to. When she gave me, normally we take birth control pills, they have the packet. It's 27 days, I think, on there. And you have every day, you take one. She said you're going to take, at first it was 2. You're going to take 2 a day, same time every day, and that should stop your period. It wasn't really stopping it. I was having like spotting. So she was like, take 4 and see what that does. And the 4 did work. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's working. So she told me this would work. I'm thinking it's okay. My mom thinking it's working, it's okay. Yeah. So I'm taking 4 birth control pills at once at the same time every day.
So did you confide in your mom when you started gaining weight and becoming depressed?
No. So
you like held that in?
I always held it in, and I feel like I do that all the time. I don't know how to go to her sometimes about this type of stuff because she also had issues. A lot of women in my family have issues with their menstrual cycles. I
was about to ask, was it like a generational thing?
Yeah, it's a generational thing. A lot of them can't even conceive, or their fertility is horrible. A lot of hysterectomies in my family. So I feel like she understood the period aspect of me going through, it's horrible to live that way every day, dealing with that, but I don't think she understood that I hate myself, I hate my body. And I think around her, I would always, my actions was screaming to her that I'm depressed, but I wasn't telling her.
So she couldn't read it.
She wasn't really reading it, but I would just throw a fit. Me and her would argue all the time. Like, we would argue like I was her husband, like screaming at each other, like, leave me alone, get out of my room. Like, we would yell at each other like we hated each other, just arguing. And I think I was just so frustrated because I feel like she wasn't realizing, like, I'm depressed, like, don't you see it? But I think I should have just told her. I can't fault her because I never said, Mommy, I'm depressed.
Yeah. But
I feel like you saw the weight gain. Like, she would even say, like, you
gaining weight.
You gaining weight. Like, you look at me, and I remember one day I came home from school, and some of my friends know this story, but my sister was pregnant at the time. She was 16, and she even came in my room, and she asked me if I was pregnant because I looked pregnant. That's how much the weight
had taken over.
Yeah, I looked like I had twins in my stomach, I feel sometimes. And she even touched my stomach, and she was like, is there a baby in there? And I think she was
How old were you at this point?
I think I was 14.
Okay.
And she was like, are you pregnant? Tell me right now. And I instantly started crying. And I think she took that as, I think she's scared to tell me she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm just crying because you just brought my insecurity down to another level. You're my mom. And I'm not even, at that time, I was never interested in being sexually active. I didn't do anything in that nature. So it was kind of like, you don't believe me. I'm telling you no. I'm telling you I never had sex.
When was the point when you got off the pill?
So my mom took me to the OBGYN one more time, and she said, look at her. She's gaining weight. She needs to do something else. So they suggested another pill, another brand. So to sum it up, I went through 3 different brands at that time. So I kept changing my brands because my mom was like, I don't want her to keep gaining weight. So I did change my brand, and I did stop gaining weight, but the weight never went away. So I'm in my mind like, I'm still looking like this. So I was still depressed, even though I wasn't gaining weight anymore. But I did eventually decide that I don't want to do the pill no more. And I decided I wanted to do another form of birth control. So
which one? The patch? Was it the patch?
No, it was the depo shot.
Okay, so how was that, going from a pill to taking a shot? How many shots do you need for that?
If I remember, I think you take one shot a month. So I would go to the OBGYN or the Blood Disorder and Cancer Center in Emory. If you live in Atlanta, you know where that is. And I would get my depo shot once a month. So I also too, I feel like they didn't inform me about it takes time for birth control to kick in and work. So I'm in my head like, I want it to hurry up and work. I don't want to have periods no more. So you're telling me that this is what's gonna help make that go away, but
It took a minute.
it took 3 months. They always would tell me give it 3 consecutive months for birth control to actually work.
That's long.
So in my mind that's long, but my mom is, you're doing this, so we're doing this. So the 3 months went by. I would have my experience on the depo shot. I already had heavy periods, so I would have a heavy period. After your period's over, you don't have a cycle. I would have spotting every single day. So there was, for 3 consecutive months, I would have to wear a pad because I was never not off of
Every day?
Every day. I was on my period. So every month, it was like on that month, that time of the month, I had a normal period, a regular heavy period. But once that week was over, I was spotting every single day. So I had to wear something every single day, and they would tell me, give it 3 months. It takes 3 consecutive months for it to work. Let it kick in. I said, okay. 4th month come by. I get the depo shot again. Same thing. Nothing has changed. I give it 1 more month. Month 5. Nothing has changed. I'm tired of living that. Who wants to live like that?
It's like you was in school when this was going on. So it's like, did you have to leave class like every day?
I would always have to leave class. My mom would have to always
send a note.
No, pick me up. I would text and call my mom from work. She worked at Atlanta Hartsfield, which is the airport. She would have to drive all the way from the airport to my school and pick me up because there's blood all over my pants. I bled through my pad, and I wore heavy pads. I wore the heavy cycle. I wore a Kotex brand. Oh, not with the spotting, but just on the regular.
The regular time pace.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with the spotting, I would just always have to change it because it's all day, every day. When I'm sleeping at night, when I'm up all day, it's always change. I was surprised to get up and change.
So were you still gaining weight on the shot, or would you say it kind of slimmed down your effects?
I think it slimmed down the weight gain.
And the depression, do you think?
I don't think it got rid of the depression. I think I still had mood swings. Birth control is very hormonal. And I feel like it disconnects
your mental.
Your mental. You feel like you don't have control. And you're taking birth control.
I like to take control.
And I was just so like, okay, my OBGYN is pressuring me to do this. My mom is agreeing, and I can't say I don't want to do this.
You don't have your own voice.
So I think it caused me to still have a lot of mood swings, a lot of depression. Once again, always crying out for help by acting out.
That wasn't helping. So the next one, which one was the next one? Was it the patch or the implant?
The patch.
How was that experience?
So that experience was very short, and I really don't have a lot of bad things to say about the patch because...
Would you say it was the best one you were on out of the peel, patch, implant, and depo shot?
I don't think it was the best one because I don't think I had a chance to really experience it.
Okay.
And I feel like that is because that's when I decided to take control of my body, and I said, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
So once the depo shot wasn't working, I told my primary care provider that I don't want to do this anymore, and he's like, okay, let's try something new. And that's another thing I feel like I confuse my body so much. It's like, make your mind up. You keep changing. You don't give me time to do what it needs to do because you keep changing the birth control. And I feel like when I changed to the patch, it was just right after I got off the depo shot. So my body was trying to adjust to that. Now I'm on the patch. And I just officially decided, like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I did the patch for about a month, I believe. It was so quick. And I just decided one day, I'm not doing this no more. And I just stopped.
I had this conversation with the girl because she found out I was doing the birth control. And she was like, just ask her, like, stuff that they didn't tell you. And she said she threw up every morning, like, literally every morning, like, around the same time, 3 o'clock. So, like, did you ever throw up?
Yes, middle of the night, just wake up out your, if she's talking like the same thing I'm talking about, you'll be asleep in the middle of the night. You don't even have time to breathe and prepare yourself. You over the bed, just thrown.
That's so. Oh my God, that sounds so painful. Actually,
it's very painful because you can barely even sleep at night. And when you do finally sleep,
you gotta wake
the
up.
cramps just like the cramps is just it just snatch you up. Like, girl, you thought you was about to get some rest.
So you gonna throw up today?
And you're throwing up. I would always just be throwing up at the middle of the night, and my mom and dad. I would just call my mom and dad and say I threw up, and you know they're used to me dealing with this type of stuff. So it was just
would you go to their room and be like, Mom, I threw up?
I couldn't even get up. Like I would just call them and be like, I threw up, and my mom okay, and she'll come throw up. They don't tell you that. They don't. I mean, if you Google, of course, do your research. You'll find all this stuff out. But when you're sitting there at the OBGYN, they're just gonna tell you you're good. Like, do this, take this every day, and you'll be fine. But they don't tell you that you could be throwing up. Sometimes I feel like your cramps too get worse. My cramps would be so unbearable. I remember one time I was just screaming off the top of my lungs in the whole house. Like it woke my dad up, and he didn't know what to do. He was like, I need to take you to the hospital because you can't even. I'm screaming for hours of pain. I can't move.
Like, you was just like,
I couldn't move. I was just laying there.
This is like so shocking to me because I heard so many of my friends' stories, but I don't think they told me they would just like randomly scream. Like, would you just be like
screaming?
Like, what?
I'm just like, like you know how women scream when they're in labor? Yeah. I was screaming like that.
Like it would just be random.
I'm in the bed screaming because I woke up and I'm in pain. The cramps are so bad they wake you up. Like you can't. Wow. I get woke up a lot from cramps because it's so bad. I can't. My body is just like. But I'm up and I'm just, it's like it's gradually getting worse. I'm feeling it and I'm just screaming, I'm crying, like I need help. I would take pain medication and throw it right back up. I throw up a lot. So my dad would say, take something, it's coming back up all the time. That pill is not gonna work. So I would always throw up the pills, the lead, Tylenol, all of that. So I was just screaming on top of my lungs. They don't tell you that, I don't know if you're going to ask them about this later, but I feel like they don't tell you about if it affects your fertility.
I was about to, it's in my head literally. I was going to get into a story because, are you scared that you
I am very terrified. I've been on I feel like my friends know, like, if I don't do anything in life, if I don't become a nurse, if I don't become rich, I want a baby. I want a chubby boy.
You want a chubby boy. I do my research.
I want a baby. I want a family. I want children. So I want to be a mom, like hands down. And if this experience with birth control has taken that away from me or affected my fertility or made it difficult for me to conceive, that would truly break my heart because I know a lot of stories of women who...
Yeah, because I have, I look at her as an older sister and she found out she couldn't have any more kids. She has 2 boys and she found out when she got off birth control, like literally, they told her, you can't have any more kids. And it kind of like broke her heart. Like, I don't think she was, I don't know if you know who you are, I don't know if you wanted any more kids, but it definitely broke her down. So I was just like, I wonder if people are scared. Because I always talk about this. I wouldn't say I don't believe in birth control because it does have its pros, but I am scared for women when it stops like their menstrual cycle because I feel like that's a natural thing that should be going on because it kind of like cleans your body. So it's like when it stops it, it's kind of like you're just clogging your blood into your system.
And I thought that too. I used to be in my body like, is this okay? Is this healthy? I'm altering my body from doing what it's naturally supposed to do. I'm not giving it a rest. I've done it since I've been 12, and I stopped birth control at 19. So I'm just terrified, and it would truly break my heart. And I feel like they don't tell you that. And even when that time when I was at the OBGYN and that black OBGYN was trying to tell me about control, I was explaining my concerns, trying to explain my concerns about fertility, and she didn't really want to hear it. And she was like, girl, don't worry about it. Once you get off, you'll be able to get pregnant just like that. And I'm like, every woman
is different. Remember that, please. Every woman is different.
And I'm trying to explain to her, you don't understand. This isn't my first time being on birth control. But I think the pressure, sometimes it's easy for, when you go to the doctor, it's so easy for them to pressure you because they'll try to hit you with their knowledge and their facts and what they believe is true. And you think because, they're licensed that maybe You know, I don't think they're trying to harm me. I don't think they would want to keep me from having kids, but I've seen so many stories, but I feel like they don't tell you about fertility. A lot of women grow cysts, ovarian cysts. It's just, a lot of women lose their birth. I know stories of girls who can't, when you get the next line, it's in your arm, you can feel it.
Yes, people be like, feel my arm. I be like,
They can't.
I don't want to feel that. It's scary.
When you get it removed, I know people who, they couldn't find it to get it out. When they get the IUD, they can't find it to get it out.
Where does it go?
And that becomes that can kill you eventually. Like,
it's like a puzzle.
And I just be in my mind like, okay, you didn't tell me this when you was inserting it, that, you know, even if you put it incorrectly, at least let me know that it's a risk that when you try to remove it, you may not be able to find it. And that's scary because they don't tell you stuff like that. And I feel like they should be more informative about all of these things. Every type of birth control that there is, they need to tell you these things can happen, even if it may not happen to you. You know, be aware of weight gain, be aware of suicidal thoughts, be aware of anxiety, be aware of just all the things that can really make you feel like you're dying.
Okay, because to wrap it up, I'm going to give y'all some facts. One, a pill is 91% effective, which means that other percentage you can get pregnant if you are on birth control due to pregnancy and trying to prevent it. Also, it does cause, you know, you not to be able to be fertile, but also, please don't be scared if you're watching this and be like, oh my God, I can't have a child. Every woman's body is different, so I would suggest you to talk to your OGBYN or whoever has you under, you know, their contract of birth control to be able to have these actual real conversations with them. Also, it says combination birth control pills result in 1 death per 200,000 women. If the PA correction calculations are correct, the risk from the patch is 3 deaths per 200,000 women. The risk of dying from a pregnancy carried beyond 20 weeks is 20 to 25 deaths per 200,000 women. So also, if you need to have these kind of conversations with your OGBYN, like Tayla said, please do so. It is very important to know your facts before just getting on any kind of birth control or even afterwards. But I want to say thank you for coming on the show. Let's give her a hand clap. If you have any similar or even contrast stories compared to Tayla, please comment down below in the comments. If you have any advice that you need from Tayla, because I've never been on birth control, to state that now, I can give y'all contact with Tayla and she'll be able to give you advice. And thank you for watching Macy VTV. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.